me to welcome you to the new podcast, episode number 130. My name is Steven. I am joined as always by producer and co-host extraordinaire, my man, Kelly. Let's get to it. Thought I'd switch things up there a little bit for the entrance there. Kind of like more, that's really what I do. That's it, I was thinking about it, you know what I mean? And, everyone, no one likes their 9 to 5 grind. Not a single fucking person in this goddamn world. I'm very appreciative of it. Very appreciative of it. Of having that, that cash flow. And that I can support my family with. Absolutely. I'm super appreciative of my job. I worked hard to get there. Worked super hard to get there. Worked 100 fucking super shitty jobs where I busted my balls and really had nothing to show for it. Really. And I would just love to be either a ring announcer or the play-by-play commentator for any kind of event. You know what I mean? Just to get that
hyped.
I know. There we go. I know. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was doing too? I was doing some practicing in my van. People may have thought I was psychotic or something like that, but and it probably echoes like shit in there. But the acoustics are amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And it's my work van, provided by my work, which I'm super appreciative too. They gave me a vehicle that I don't have to pay for the gas and shit like that. Super appreciative of my job. I love my job. I'm at the top of the line as far as a dude of that came up from where I am could be right now. But I just think it's who I am as well. I want more, and I don't know if I can do this job forever. And I would love to either be a ring announcer or a play-by-play commentator. I don't have the to be the color guy, you got to have the experience of what you're doing, But I think when you get into the play-by-play, you're just the guy calling the shots, directing the traffic when it comes to conversation. And I think it's that's something I do pretty well. And I'm definitely, I keep saying I'm gonna take that next step, but I've dipped my toe a few times and got harshly rejected. So I'm kind of just keeping my, thinking about it down the road, and we'll see what happens. We are back with episode number 130 for you folks. Glad to be back on board.
Yes.
Gonna explain where. Yeah. Yes.
It's all about mental health, mental wellness, and I've talked about it before in the show, but I was in a car accident, and I've been having some issues. Mostly, it's just headaches, pressure headaches, fatigue, stuff like that. So we kind of put the show on the wraps for a little bit, but I appreciate the fans for sticking around, waiting for that new episode. And we're gonna be back stronger than ever. Absolutely.
No explanation needed, Kelly. We all, how much I love you, buddy. And, your health comes before anything, And hey, man, it's we do this for fun too, right? This is something we do for fun too, right? So, whatever happens, your health is more important than some silly show that some jerk-offs do. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Nah, not at all, man, not at all. Absolutely, but it's always good to kick it with you. That's what makes this show, the dynamic, so good. Me and you, man, you, homie. You know what I mean? And I love you for that, buddy.
It's always fun when a guest comes by too.
That's true, absolutely. Kyle filling in, Morgan filling in, absolutely. Yeah. That's what's fun about the show. It's interchangeable pieces, and the organic evolution of it continues, keeps rolling on. But there was a few weeks. Hey, there was 1 week. That it wasn't just you, Kelly. I gave up. I had a few problems there. That 1 week I was super hungover after that wrestling event, and which I will get to later in the show. I went to motherfucking New York City.
What?
In a pandemic and in this economy? Yeah, I went to New York City. Talk about that a little bit later in the show. We have got a lot to get to with Bellator and the UFC going down. So much new news has come out. Some craziness and some great fight announcements are coming down the pipe. We got some great cards coming up. UFC has laid 2 huge stinkers as of recently, and that's what I've been saying forever, man. This is hockey season started, football season started, basketball season's right around the corner. Wednesday is when Wednesday, wintertime and fall are when people are gonna be in their houses, especially like the middle of the States and the middle of Canada. It is cold as shit. You don't go outside. You know what I mean? Unless for an absolutely essential reason. These people know how to go into social distancing lockdown because they can't go outside because they may freeze to death. But that's when you want to have your A-list shows on, and the UFC has laid 2 stinkers in a row here. I gotta say it, and I know there's been some injuries and there's been some replacements, but there's no excuse for this shit. There's absolutely no excuse for this shit. Football's been great. Have some great Sunday matchups been coming down the pipe. The Chargers just losing now, and they looked unbeatable, and will the Cardinals remain undefeated? Only time will tell after tonight.
Do you have that hot topic about the bare knuckle boxer?
No, I wasn't gonna go with that one. I wasn't. I do have a hot topic though today. It's about something else. So yeah, sad news, dude, freaking dying.
Yeah, his record was absolutely terrible. I don't know who okayed this fight. I think once a fighter gets KO'd a certain amount of times in a row as well, they should be put on some sort of maybe you shouldn't be doing this, leave. I don't know,
100%. Well, you have to get cleared some way or another.
Yeah.
To step foot in that ring, there has to be. But is there a test out there, Kelly?
Mm-hmm.
Once you run that number, how many times have you been knocked out in there in a professional ring? In a professional setting?
You probably would have been kicked out.
Maybe, yep. I could see that. Even with him fighting today, the dude's 32 and 20.
Yeah.
A lot of those were KOs.
Who else got knocked out a lot? Donald, didn't he? No,
Cerrone? Yeah, Cerrone's been knocked out a fair amount recently, too. Absolutely. He totally has.
I always worry about those guys.
Me too.
And then when they go to something like bare knuckle, fuck, man.
Now the padding is off, and it's just straight punches to your head.
To your head, that's it. No, body too, but there's going to be no takedowns.
Yeah.
There's going to be no, whatever submission is. All going to be, I'm going to try to knock you out. And if you have CTE, that's a bad idea, man.
Look at the people's hands. Look at the people's faces after those fights. They didn't come out no matter what.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't get knocked down, there's no matter what, they didn't come out of there with even the minors a bit of CTE.
Yeah.
And I think you bring up a great point. What I love is you got a problem, Kelly, but you came up with a solution. They got to have some kind of test for this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They got to have some kind of test for this, exactly. Some kind of number, something on paper we're saying, even though it is your livelihood, you got to move on now, because now it's too much of a liability for not only for the event, for the company putting it on, but for the fighter himself.
Yeah. I mean, part of making it legal is keeping it safe.
Yep, exactly. There will be deaths, there will be freak accidents, but this is, exactly like you said, Kelly. You look at the guy's record and you're thinking, first thing come to mind, how did this son of a bitch set foot in a bare knuckle ring at heavyweight?
Yes.
Exactly. Another fighter who comes to mind is Tim Hague. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, he owned the quickest being knocked out in the UFC by Todd Duffy, I believe. Canadian fighter, also died in the boxing ring, but he got knocked out like 3 times in that boxing match. I believe just in that round alone, he was knocked out something like 7 times, knocked down, got back up. But unfortunately, that last time he never got up, he never got out of the hospital bed, and he died. Yeah. Just like this guy here. That's the shittiest thing about that one too, is we witnessed that. I watched that fight.
Yeah.
I watched that fight, and it was so bad they didn't even pan the camera to him. That dude, same with that guy. He left on a stretcher and he never got up. That dude never was the same after that knockout. That other dude literally killed him legally.
It's crazy, man. It has to. You have to look at the guy's record and say, is it safe for this guy to continue? It can't just be, this is how many wins and this is how many losses. It has to be, is it safe for this guy to actually compete? And they have to take that into account, I think. I don't know what they're going to do from now on. I mean, they have to do something differently, because there's going to be people fucking barking down their throats to change stuff. You know what I mean?
The next day, people were saying cancel bare knuckle boxing. They're absolutely that people were everywhere. Should bare knuckle boxing be canceled? No, I don't think it should be. Accidents happen. This is boxing.
Yeah.
People die in actual gloved boxing.
People die
all
in
the
football.
time. Oh yeah, big time.
You know what I mean? They put on like I don't know how many events, like 15 events. Unfortunately, there was one death. Everybody else seemed to be okay. And generally, I mean, if you look at their faces and all,
hockey, everything. You know what I mean? People die. People die in sports. Yeah.
I was watching this one guy. He was playing basketball and he got angry and headbutt the basketball post, and he made himself a quadriplegic.
Oh, what?
Yeah, he broke his neck when he headbutted the post.
Holy moly!
It just went down, and it was like cringy to watch. I was like, oh my god.
In a heap.
Yeah, just angry.
Man, talk about a freak accident.
Yeah.
That happens in football quite often. There's a few dudes, especially on the punt or kick returns, the most dangerous play where dudes have just been absolutely, because you got, you're running at, 50 kilometers an hour, or for my American fans, 33 miles per hour. And you got dudes coming the other way at the same distance, you know what I mean? And you're going to crash into each other with a fucking weapon attached to your head?
Yeah, man, yeah. Neck breaker.
Yeah, no sport is safe, but you want it to be safe. You don't want people to go out there dying, and that's the thing. Whether it be a man's sport or whatever, people do die in these things. Accidents do happen, but you don't want the accidents to happen. And I think this was a preventable. At the end of the day, like Kelly said, at the end of the day, when you look at it on paper, this could have been a preventable death.
Yeah.
And I think that's what that's all we're looking out for. And I think is anyone going to be saying, no, this guy should fight? No one in the fucking planet will be saying it about this dude. I didn't know who the fuck he was before this fight. I'm sure very few people outside of his circle would have known who this guy was before this fight, and now he's dead.
I mean, we were scared for Bigfoot when he came into the
for sure
bare knuckle boxing. We're like, he's definitely gonna get knocked out. And
absolutely,
did.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Another dude who, great call. There you go, man. That's an absolute great call. A guy who's got nothing going for him right now.
So who okayed that?
Yeah. There's no reason why he should ever step foot in any kind of professional, whether it be grappling. I could allow grappling, but that's not, that's different.
Yeah.
That's not, you're not taking damage. You could get slammed, but still, that's a little bit different. That is rare, and in certain jiu-jitsu, slamming is illegal. But there's another dude. Good call, man. Bigfoot should be barred from fighting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No one's going to argue that. Hot take. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Tough loss. It was pretty crazy, like I said, because we watched it, and just I remember, now you think about it afterwards, and they never panned over to him. I know it was a bad knockout, and the ref instantly did the whole jaw grab because the dude fell face first so hard that he had just straight up just messed his, broke his jaw as well. He was probably doing that and a lot of people really get fucked up. They do that gruntal breathing type thing. It's creepy ass shit. So I'm sure the referee knew something was up right away, and but they never panned over to him afterwards, and he got stretchered out of there. That's what I think why it stuck into my mind when it first happened, because I'm like, you don't see that very often where a guy gets stretchered out of the ring, and he was still not awake for quite some time.
Unless they're telling people that they're wiser in their DMs and stuff like that. That's the only time you see him stretchered out.
What? Kelly, fucking ruthless. Wow, absolutely.
Yeah, why is it my DM?
Stretcher. Wow, Kelly with the straight fire. Calling out Conor McGregor. I don't even want some Conor shit went down, and I don't even want to talk about it.
No, I don't.
You know what I mean? I don't even want to talk about it. All the news isn't out about it, so that's why I don't even want to talk about it. Of all the companies, SureDog usually doesn't report on shit till the next day, till everything's been verified.
Yeah.
SureDog was one of the first people on the line for this one, just from the pictures. Like I said, I'm just going to hint about it. I don't think if you've heard it, you heard it, but from what I've seen, it doesn't look like it's that big of a deal.
Nothing.
No, It's totally nothing. But let's talk some MMA news. This has nothing to do with MMA, but man, oh man, when another crazy announcement this week, Kelly, is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson not making a movie debut, not making a return to wrestling. He is putting his talents into hip hop. And doing a song with none other than the king of KC, Tech 9.
I think if you're gonna do hip hop, it's good to have the best producers and rappers doing it with you. You know what I mean? Like it'd pretty much be super hard for him to sound bad with the people that he surrounded himself with in that song that I heard.
Oh, of course, I think just to start it off too, you know what I mean? I'm not a huge fan of the new Tech 9 guys, of Joey Cool especially. I like King ISO. I'm not a huge fan of Joey Cool at all. You know what I mean? He just seems like kind of like a dollar store TI to me, kind of. Really? Well, I don't know, no disrespect or nothing, but even though I just did harshly, but I did, I mean, I think obviously the strange music brand has taken a hit as of recently. A lot of dudes leaving for more money. Did the pandemic have something to do with that? I don't know, but either way, the new Asinine album that this song is on, Face Off, is Tech 9 with Joey Cool, King ISO, and the debut of The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Yeah, it's actually a good song. It's actually a really good song. I really enjoyed it. It's got a good beat, and Tech 9 kills it on his end. And just to have The Rock in there was really cool. Really, really cool. Good to see him, do what he's mega loaded, done everything. Why the hell not? That's why I like this move, and it's actually pretty good. I think he did a pretty good job. This is perfect for him. Just have a little bit on something, and just to help out himself and to Tech 9, putting himself on a good name. Next, who knows what he's going to do? What kind of project will he do next? Machine Gun Kelly? Who knows if he's lucky?
One of my favorite Tech 9 little lyrics is when he called Eminem the white guy Dre brought.
He says he's better than Eminem because he can use the N-word.
Who's Eminem? He's the white guy Dre brought.
Both the Midwest type dudes, both affiliated with juggalos and juggalettes.
Speaking of rap, I got a new pistol.
Whoa! Packing heat.
Yeah, man. Ruger Wrangler. It's
nice.
Black cherry color. It's really nice. I haven't been able to shoot it yet, so I can't talk about the accuracy or anything like that.
Canadian rules.
But I do have a Ruger 1022, which is the rifle Ruger. It shoots 22s as well. And that thing's like super accurate. Never jammed on me. Never had an issue. I've shot like hundreds of rounds. Made that thing dirty as fuck. Still shot. No problems. So I'm hoping it's just a 6-shooter. Usually things don't really go wrong with a 6-shooter. It's usually like if you have a pistol with a mag, especially 22s, because 22s you have to hold them perfectly still and straight when you shoot. Otherwise they don't eject properly and they'll get jammed like every other time.
Really?
So,
I did not know that.
Yeah, so like some people with weaker wrists or have trouble holding still, they can't shoot 22 like pistols. Like magazines. So when you get like a revolver, you can fucking, move your hand around as much as you want. You're not gonna hit shit if you do, but you can move your hand around as much as you want. It's still gonna fire. And then another thing too is the brass on the magazines when you're shooting a pistol, they eject out the side, right? The 6-shooter, the brass will stay actually inside the 6-shooter. So if you want to reload, you can. I don't reload because I just don't want to. It's just a lot of time and effort that I don't have. But if you want, if you want to keep the brass, you can do that. It's a lot easier to clean up afterwards too. Obviously it's going to take longer to reload and shoot, but on average, like a 6-shooter is just going to be more reliable. And that's what I really wanted anyways, because I did have a GSG 911 22, and man, that thing fucking jammed all the time.
Really?
It was just garbage, and they make the Sig Sauer one, like they make the one for Sig, so it's like it's supposed to be one of the best pistol 22s.
What the hell?
And it still jams up all the time.
And the jamming is the worst thing too. Like that's the worst thing that can happen to you because you don't know what is going on in there.
Exactly. I'm like I told my wife, like, if there was an emergency. And I'm not talking about someone breaking in my house because it's Canada. You can't use weapons to defend your house. But if there's an emergency when like a war happened, I don't know, and everything went to shit, I would not reach for my old 22 GSU 911. I'd grab anything else just because I would not know for sure that thing would continue shooting.
That's hilarious.
So it'd just be risk, right? So yeah, I got this Ruger Wrangler. Super sweet. Love the color. Yeah, it's a full-sized heavy gun too for a 22, which I really like. So yeah,
You should get like one of those auto reloader things, like that, like quick reload thing.
yeah. Well, you can buy like new like different cylinders too, and just like keep those loaded and switch them out really fast as well. And also buy a quick loader. They also have the grips, like different wood grips and stuff for them.
Oh, cool!
You can change those out, but it's a really cheap gun in America. You can usually get it for between $250 and $300. And it's sometimes even cheaper in the U.S. Like I've seen them for as little as $199. But here you're gonna pay around $300.
That's what I like about America. It's nice to visit y'all down there, but it's different. But it does seem like, I don't know if it's just me or just everything is cheaper down there.
Yeah.
You make about the same you do up here, and everything is cheaper.
And on top of that, if you work for something like UPS and you get that UPS benefits,
they give you guns?
Well, no, oh. they don't give you guns, but they like if you get hurt or whatever, it's not like you're paying like those thousands, like your hospital fee could be like $60,000. You're paying like $100.
Yeah.
Like it's not that bad.
No, not bad at all.
If you have insurance through like
of
a good
course
company.
You need insurance, yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I wish they had better healthcare. That's about it. Like a universal healthcare. And I know Americans are gonna hate me for saying that, but you don't know how good it is.
We pay for it. That's the thing. That's what Americans don't understand. We do pay for our healthcare. You know what I mean? In a small way.
Yeah.
They don't mean it's universal healthcare. Everyone has to have it, and you're on it. But like I said, you know what I mean? If I'm not working or on government assistance, the government will send me a bill saying, "Here's your bill for this month since we know you didn't work, and we know you haven't contributed to healthcare. Here's your bill for the healthcare." And it's like 100. I think for a single guy, it'd be like $125 a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we don't get free healthcare. We just all pay into it, and we pay into it with our taxes as well.
And it's amazing when you need it.
Of course.
Because you don't have to think about it.
Exactly. The fact that in America, you can't pay into it even. You can't pay into one thing. Sure, you know what I mean? We do pay into something.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, obviously, it's been a huge benefit. The fact that Americans can't do it, you have to actually go to get private health insurance.
Which, there's a middleman, which makes it even more expensive.
Of course, yeah. Absolutely. Private health insurance is not that cheap. It's not. That's the problem. That's obviously the hugest knock on America. Obviously, unless you have a good paying job with healthcare, you're kind of screwed.
But how quick would you move there if they had your healthcare?
Oh man, I don't know. That's a tough question. Yeah,
every state has different laws, right? So you'd pick whatever one you'd be happiest in. Like, oh, I want all these.
I love where I live. Where I live, but I mean, if I think, obviously I'd always be a Canadian citizen, but I think if I was at that point where I could do both, I would definitely own property in both countries.
Yeah. My truck says miles per hour. That's not even a joke, it's for real. It was imported. It was a Texas truck.
Same with my work van.
So it says miles per hour.
Yeah, mine does too, yeah.
I like it. I think it's kind of cool.
It's different, that's for sure.
Oh, man.
Moving right along here, Kelly.
That's so funny. From rap to guns.
to miles per hour.
Speaking of rap.
Moving right along here. We got two big fight announcements that have come down the pipe. Number one will be show favorite Jorge Gamebred Masvidal taking on Leon the Whiner Edwards. You can see where I am biased towards, and that is my man, Jorge Masvidal, serving up a second helping of the three-piece in a soda for Leon Edwards here. This fight's going to be going down, Kelly, and I cannot wait for this one to go down. One of the biggest announcements of the year for two dudes who are going to, I think it's one dude going down, one dude going up with Leon Edwards. Basically undefeated. He's got a bit of an asterisk, and he does have a no contest. Taking on Jorge, who has lost twice and decidedly so against Kamaru Usman with that crazy KO, the sweat-beating KO of Jorge, knocking him out, being one of the only dudes to do it.
It was funny. 2 months ago, we were talking about how there's rumors that it was Jorge was gonna fight Leon for the
Yeah.
BMF belt.
Yeah.
But then the fight gets announced and like no belt. It'd make it more exciting if there was a belt.
It really would. 100%.
It doesn't even change the fight, but it makes it more exciting.
This one better be for the BMF belt. Come on, it's gotta be. It's gotta be.
But there was all these rumors like 2 months ago.
Huh.
Oh, BMF belt, it's gonna come up. Jorge's fighting again. He's gonna fight. And rumors there was gonna be Leon or to somebody else. I forget. Yeah.
Huh.
It's kind of lame that they didn't announce the belt.
Yeah, no, it is. Totally is. I guess Jorge just wants to make it a one-time thing. Holding on to that forever, I guess, is just what he wants to do. He doesn't even talk about ever even thinking of bringing it up.
Yeah. Doesn't want to give out that belt.
But what's crazy between these two dudes is how much six degrees of separation they have. Both having a win over Nate Diaz, although, Jorge beat the fuck out of Nate, and Leon Edwards almost lost.
That iconic picture of him wobbling while Nate points at him and laughs.
Exactly. They both have wins over Donald Cerrone, and they both have losses to Kamaru Usman. So the 6 degrees of separation between these two dudes is not all that far off. Where Leon Edwards hasn't fought that many huge dudes. He has a win over Gunnar Nelson, Peter Sabota, even Brian Barberina. I mean, he does have a win over Vincent Luque, who's super tough at 170 now, but that was a long time ago in their career. And he has the win over Rafael Dos Anjos, a lackluster win. And, but we've seen a lot more losses with Jorge Masvidal here. The loss to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. The split decision loss to Damian Maia at 170. That was when he kind of first came up. Obviously then the huge win against Darren Till, Ben Askren, Nate Diaz, and then the two losses. He has a loss over to Ally Aquinta as well. Lost to Benson Henderson and Lorenz Larkin. And even Strikeforce losing to Gilbert Melendez. Been obviously fighting for 6 more years, and then some on top of that. The numbers are hugely different as well. 35-15. And Leon Edwards is 19-3. So it is still, he's got almost more losses than he does have fights. This one will be going down December 11th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. UFC 269 is mega stacked. And that'll be going down in the beginning of December. Basically, the year-end card is what they're going to have. But the headliner is Charles Oliveira versus Dustin Poirier for the belt. Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena also for the belt. And we see the debut of Cody Garbrandt at 125. Sugar Sean O'Malley also on this one. And no doubt, a fight that should be a war will be the headline of the undercard or the first fight of the main card. Jeff Hands of Steel Neal taking on Santiago Ponzinibbio. That should be a good one too. Super stack card. Good fight to have at the end of the year. Moving right along here. Interesting career change for a dude. Junior Dos Santos made his pro wrestling debut, Kelly, at AEW, even getting put through a table. With it's been actually pretty decent, actually, with the recent, I think Dan Lambert, I think is his name. He's the owner of American Top Team, like the American Top Team in Florida. Yeah. And he's been kind of coming out to AEW and saying how, wrestling nowadays sucks and all the fans are pussies and shit like this. So he's really getting all his heat, but he's actually cutting some pretty good promos. I'll give him that. He's cutting some really, really good promos, but he's having Amanda Nunes with him, Jorge Masvidal with him. He's having Junior Dos Santos and Andre Arlovsky with him in the wrestling ring. He even had Paige Van Zantz and her husband Osterford Van Zantz, or whatever the fuck his name is, Austin Vanderford,
Mr. Paige Van
Zantz with them as well. So he's been bringing all these A-list MMA fighters, and Junior Dos Santos gets to wrestle. He actually put on a pretty damn good match. And even with the at the end, they had Jorge Masvidal throwing his flying knee to Chris Jericho as well. So it was actually pretty cool to see the crossover, and good for Junior Dos Santos. He's saying, whatever, I'm just having fun doing it. Why not? And he's a big dude. I don't see why not. Why he couldn't make the crossover to MMA, and it's actually been a pretty good program. Good for him.
I saw that GIF of George throwing that knee.
Yeah,
it was like online.
Yeah, everyone was sharing that one. It was really good. Where they were holding him up because they were beating the crap out of Chris Jericho and the guys from the Inner Circle. It was really good. Good to see him.
It's funny how that became his his thing.
Yeah,
like
it really did.
Flying knee.
Yeah, it really did.
It's like poor Ben.
Made this whole man's career. It really did.
It did, too.
It really did, because he was getting so much steam, and then he gets that crazy-ass knockout.
Yeah. So quick, too.
Super quick. It was electric. That brings me to the problem I got here. With dudes coming out, we've seen now 2 people come out this week, especially. The problems with the UFC and the pay have been deep, and they've been, a lot of people have been speaking up, and more so now with, Francis and Ngannou having to come out and saying, why do I, the heavyweight champion of the UFC, need to take a loan to get as much training as I can? Why am I in that position when these boxers are making hundreds of millions in a single fight, and I have to do this here. Norma Dumont, the fighter this just fought last night, saying she has $50 in her bank account. Stuff like this, these fighters, did they blow all their money? Maybe. Did they not invest it properly? Probably. But they wouldn't be in this situation fighting at this high of a level.
I know, man.
You shouldn't be in there. I don't go to get my head kicked in and my arms and legs ripped off my body when I go to work. I don't have these problems. These people are on TV. They're celebrities. and they're more broke than I am.
Half your roster of female fighters shouldn't be on Fans Only.
Yeah, OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
It's probably more than half. It's probably more than half, man. Or doing some kind of, cream body stuff, on Instagram for a buck. Absolutely. I totally agree. These people should be able to live happily. They're getting brain damage and having to cut weight so harsh that it damages their organs, Kelly. But they can't, their whole life is revolving around this. They're almost stuck in a shitty job. It sucks. It totally sucks for them. And it just doesn't make any fucking sense. But at the end of the day, they say, we have a problem here. Let's come up with a solution. And the solution I have for Dana White is you got to give them sponsors.
Yeah.
Let them get sponsored. That's why these boxing guys are making money. That's why dudes in Bellator, I don't know why more people aren't going to Bellator. Sure, the paycheck's probably a little bit less, but the sponsorships are huge.
Yeah.
The sponsorships are absolutely fucking gigantic. Sure, you have to make your name in certain places. But I could see why there is the odd dude who, is super happy over there.
Yeah.
Corey Anderson's super happy over there. Patricio Pitbull, he's super happy over there.
They'll give you $20,000 and slap Condom Depot on your ass.
Yeah, absolutely. I would. I totally would.
In a minute.
I would slap it on my ass and on my dick.
regular day.
Exactly.
I just walk around like
Exactly.
$20,000. Let's go.
There you go. Or you're going to have to pay them more. Dana, there's your 2 options. You're either going to have to pay them more, or you're just going to have to let them get sponsors on your stupid Venom clothes now.
Yeah.
Let them keep the sponsorship of the jersey. The jersey has to stay the same. No problem. But allow them to get whatever sponsors they want. That was just super, super nasty with the UFC, and making almost like that move that the NHL and other sports are doing with sponsorships on their logos. With that, they have that cryptocurrency one, that cryptocurrency bank now they just signed that huge agreement with.
Yeah.
How much are the fighters making from that agreement? Even though they are going to be wearing that logo on their clothes while they fight? $0 is what they're making from that deal. $0. You're going to have more people, how are you going to get more fighters in the end of the day? At the end of the day, we're going to see these low-rate dudes because there's no money in it. Mm-hmm. There's no money in this. Why are people going to want to risk their brain damage? They see Conor McGregor made millions, but he's now, rumored to be with organized crime. He invested his money very smartly, but I think he invested his money with organized crime. I think that's the rumor. It wasn't my idea. I'm not the only one coming up with a conspiracy theory. Other people are saying this is true, and It's hard to argue with it. Okay, sure, you invested properly, but now you own a Lamborghini yacht? Hold on a second here. Obviously fighting Floyd Mayweather was obviously a huge feather in his cap and in his bank account. But that's what you gotta do. I don't know if you want to compete with people not moving over to boxing and not even joining MMA in the first place. Mm-hmm. Do you want the football stars to join? Do you want the basketball stars to join? These dudes are the freak athletes you need. Yeah. These are the freak athletes they need.
And you're telling the whole world that we can't afford you.
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. Like absolutely.
This sport can't afford any good athletes. Sorry. Go to another sport.
Exactly. Hopefully, we'll somehow, you'll join us for like next to nothing. Even if you were a blue chip dude,
yeah.
Say you were like a wrestler or something like that. Like, you were the best wrestler in college, or, you were like a super awesome basketball star or something like that. You could go to the NBA, or go to another organization. With wrestling, you don't really have anywhere else to go. I think that's the problem. When you're a wrestler, there's really nowhere else. Once you're done the Olympics, which you get money from your government to compete in the Olympics. But once you're done that, you could go be a coach or something like that. But still, I'd rather go be a coach and get a salary. If at a high, if you were the best of the best, you can go to any university you'd want to get a coaching job for well over $100,000 a year. Or you could go to UFC, where the first year you maybe get $60,000. And that's if you fight 2 times that first year, you may get $60,000 to get severe brain damage, and your training costs are through the roof.
Yeah, 30,000.
Exactly. And then you got to think about taxes. Yeah, exactly. And then how you're supposed to eat and sleep and drive during all that time.
So basically, you're just fighting to live. Just fucking.
I think that's what a lot of people are doing. We've been in this situation before, Kelly. Me especially. When you're younger and you're working on a shitty job, but you really can't get out of that job to go look for a new job. Because
tired.
Yeah, exactly. You're too tired, and you can't take a day off.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's what we're seeing here with the UFC fighters. Hit us up, Dana. I got tons more ideas for you, man. But I think you got to open up the sponsorship. That's the end of the day. It's got to go. That's the easiest solution for these people to make money on their own. Mm-hmm. Sponsors. Easy. Well, Kelly, what kind of working out you get out to this week, man? Last few weeks.
Not a lot. Just light lifting. Going for more reps than weight. Haven't really been doing much other than physio though. So not a lot to talk about.
Physio is a good workout.
Yeah. So I go to physio 3 times a week and just lift lightweight.
Nice.
At home. Yeah. No cardio.
Yeah, I've been the laziest I have been in a very long time myself. It's hard when I get home. It's the worst. It should be one of those, because I have to get up so early. I don't get that pre-workout workout.
Yeah.
And that's what I used to do. My travel to work was my early workout. You know what I mean? Just getting to work, on bicycle and stuff like that, and walking was the workout. Climbing steps and shit like that. But now, since I don't do that, and when I get home, I have the hardest battle. Do I have just been working balls to the wall mentally? When I get home, I kind of just want to sit on the couch for a few minutes, and then I'll end up wanting to rest my eyes. So it's either sitting on the couch and resting my eyes, or getting on the treadmill or doing some working out. So it's tough battle. So, needless to say, taking a nap has won every day. But hey, it doesn't mean I can't. I'll get back on that horse workout again. I'll get back on it. I got to, honestly. I just don't. I'm starting to get up there. But rather, I think we're gonna switch gears this week a little bit here. Rather than doing reviewing the reviews, I'm gonna talk about my fucking New York trip. I was gonna do like a New York McDonald's as well, but kind of want to just talk about it, man. What a fucking experience. If anyone gets the opportunity to travel during this pandemic, especially being a Canadian traveling to America, it was a bit stressful. I could say that was the worst part about the whole thing. It wasn't the flying. I'm totally cool with flying. The flying was nice and everything like that, but it was the worrying about my paperwork getting there. Am I worrying about paperwork getting back, or obviously catching COVID in America? What am I gonna do if I get COVID in America?
American COVID,
fuck yeah. But, you know, I mean, so obviously that was obviously, you know, weighing on my mind the whole time. The trip, the flight, everything was awesome. Everything was super, super awesome. If you know what I mean, I am just honored and super lucky to have been given the opportunity to go on this trip. It's like I said, especially during a pandemic, I could not be more thankful, you know what I mean, for everything that happened, and, you know, just for, you know, the people that got me there and the reason why I went there in the first place. Super awesome trip, but I really enjoyed it because, you know, I was supposed to go on this trip before. You know what I mean? I had this trip planned I got my plane tickets, I think, in November 2019. You know what I mean? To go to fly in May of 2020. You know what I mean? That was the original plan, was to go to New York at that time, and obviously coronavirus had other ideas. So,
and in a blink of an eye, you were there.
Exactly. It really was, wasn't it? You know what I mean? There's always those memes of people like processing, you know what I mean, that, you know, 2020 and then realizing, you know, 2022 is only a few months away.
Oh man. And it's still the same shit.
It's still, if anything, we're a little bit worse off right now.
We're still dealing with COVID-19.
Exactly. Oh my God.
2022.
COVID 2022. But I get there, you know what I mean? I get there, like I said, it was stressful. You know, like I said, I had all my paperwork, but and I hadn't been to an airport forever. I hadn't flown on a plane since like 2008, and that was just to Calgary, which is, you know, super close, a super quick flips trip. So we fly fly from Vancouver to Montreal, and if it wasn't for Starbucks, I fucking swear to God, I would have starved. And these American airports, you guys got it good. Canadian airports suck. It totally sucks. So we, you know what I mean, we get to, you know, get through American customs, everything's cool. And then we take like a smaller plane from Montreal to America, and that was really, really cool because it was like nighttime by then, and you know, just, you know, flying into New York and to LaGuardia at night, it was just super cool. All the lights, you know, they're flying right by the baseball stadium and the football stadium, and that was just super cool. And then, you know, to touch ground in America, it was really weird, man. It was just a really cool feeling. I think, especially like during now, and you know, that's the weirdest thing I felt about New York was the first day, especially. It didn't feel like I didn't feel like a stranger or like an out of towner. It was very weird. Even though I had never stepped foot in this state or this city at all, here I am plopped right down in the middle of NoHo, Manhattan, New York, and it didn't feel weird to me. I think it has to do with the water being right there. You know what I mean? Always kind of having that guide. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like how, you know, pirates and people travel the seas by the stars. I always have the water, so I always know that's going to be the east. I can't go as far as the water. You know what I mean? Once I've hit water, I've made it to one side. Okay, I got to go the other way. Right, so I think of having always that marker, that marker in this, that no matter where I went, I think kind of made me feel good about it. Obviously, I kind of had planned the trip, you know, 2 years ago almost, you know, a year and a half ago. So I kind of had an idea of what I was wanting to do. So first day we get there, we drive around, do some of the cool shit there in a cool convertible, drive around and really take it in. And then we were doing the most New York thing ever. We were actually staying in New Jersey, and so we stayed in New Jersey. Next day we go into the city, and boom, I separate from my sisters. They go do their thing, I go do my thing, and I just walked. I walked and walked and walked, just like I said, from NoHo to Soho. It was so cool, Kelly. It was just really taking it in. It was, and I, the whole time, it was the funniest thing as I walked past like this hat store, like a baseball hat store. And like that was like the roughest crowd I had seen the whole entire time I was in New York. All these dudes, these huge dudes of all colors, all races, you know what I mean, all lining up and to get into this hat store. I thought like that was the weirdest thing. It wasn't even like a big hat store. It was a small hole in the wall hat store. And I thought it was the weirdest thing, but like I said, that was the toughest crowd I'd seen my whole trip. So you know, I walked through, you know, all the cool clothing area and shit like that. That was really, really cool in Soho. the clothing district there was just insane. Where just every street, Kelly, every corner, every area had history to it, or it was some kind of, it was either some ancient building or some modern marvel of architecture. It was so enlightening. The trip was just absolutely just to take it. I can see why people go to New York and think they can do whatever, think they can take on the world, because that's kind of the way I felt. That it has such an energy to it. It's just really weird, with the streets and everything like that, how they're laid out, the old, the new, the cobblestone roads. That's what was cool about Soho, is all the streets were normal roads and all the avenues were these cobblestone, just filled with people doing, like for clothing shops and that type of thing, like personal people, personal tailors and shit like that, all for their own clothing stores for high fashion and shit like that. It was super cool. Made my way down to the World Trade Center Memorial. That was really cool too, man. That was really, really solemn. What a really interesting spot that was. Just to feel, you can really feel what had happened, man. It was just a weird, somber feel to be there. Just the pools they have there. These, I think they're the in infinity pools or whatever the fuck they got going on there, but it was just really, really cool. The train station outside was just this gigantic, like, fishbone skeleton type thing. What a really cool train station they had. And it was just like all the history, all the names, the stuff like that. It was a big deal. It was a really big deal for the New Yorkers, for America, but especially for New York. That was a huge deal. So it was really cool seeing the new building was super awesome as well. The World Trade Center 1 was really cool. But one thing I gotta tell you, if you're gonna go to New York, there's no alleys. I thought it was weird. Everyone throws their trash right on the front steps, on the front of the street, Kelly. Everyone throws their trash there, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because there's no alleys. The entire time, everywhere I walked, I may have seen 2 alleys, Kelly. No alleys in New York City.
Rich people.
They're so rich they don't need alleys. No, just everything was the front. It just, I guess, because there's not enough room there's no room for alleys. So that was really interesting. But the worst part about it, there's no bathrooms too. Especially since COVID, I couldn't even go to McDonald's. Bathrooms closed. Subway, bathrooms closed.
Oh, now I know you're looking for an alley.
Exactly, that's what I was looking for. I didn't even take a piss. That's the problem was. So my first walk, we brought sandwiches. We're sitting in this cool little park, and then we split right outside of the university. Then we split. I started walking. And I'm like, I want to go get a fucking beer. I'm in America. I'm going to 7-Eleven, grab me a big beer. Grab a big ass tall Heineken, and I'm walking. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I go to the courthouse. And I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And then I'm drinking, and I'm like, oh, man, I got to take a piss. All right, I'm going to find a bathroom. No problem. Nope. Nowhere. I couldn't find a bathroom. I walked for a goddamn hour holding in my piss, thinking, oh, man, I got to go now. I'm just going to piss wherever. And I just went to my hotel room. Finally, I'm like, I walked all the way out of my way to the McDonald's. I'm like, no. So I go to the Subway. No, they don't let me in. I'm like, they're gonna let me in the McDonald's. I go to the McDonald's. No, they don't let me in. Little did I know, right at Battery Park, where the Statue of Liberty is, there's public bathrooms there. But I walked right fucking past it, Kelly. I walked right. Oh, it was the worst. It was the absolute worst. And so I just go back to my hotel and finally take a piss. But the shitty thing, I guess it was the flight or the American water or something, but my hands and my feet swelled up terribly. So I had these nice shoes I wore to that wrestling event the weekend before. Okay, I tested it out. It was a good test. I'm going to be in these shoes all day. I'm going to do tons of walking. I'm going to do tons of standing. The shoes were awesome. Perfect shoes. So I'm like, these are the shoes I'm going to take on my trip. And I fucking tore my feet up terribly. Just like my pinkies, because my feet swelled up so bad. I have wide ass feet, so I always need wide shoes, and they were not wide shoes, but they still fit comfortable enough. My pinkies got fucking destroyed. Absolutely, my pinky toes got absolutely mangled. But I toughed it through. So first day we do Battery Park, do the wedding, and then boom, we go to this really cool Francis's Pub was what it is. It's where George Washington and they had made like his did like a big speech to fight off the British or some shit like that. It's like a famous pub. It was really weird because it was super shitty actually, man. Manhattan and New York is like so hipster. I thought the West Coast had the worst hipsters. Nah, New York has the absolute worst hipsters. Kelly, I'm in a bar. They don't have every single beer is craft beer. Every single beer is craft beer. And I'm like in a pub that's like fucking like 300 years old. I don't want to have something that's on tap. That's going to be fucking disgusting piss water, man. You didn't clean those. You don't even clean those taps out? Probably never. This is the same tap from the fucking 1700s. So I obviously didn't want anything on tap. So I'm like, well, you got this type of beer. So I know my beers. I know how to drink. I know my beers. But when they don't have Heineken or Bud Light in America, I was kind of thrown off. So I'm like, okay. And what do you got in bottles? That anything is not IPA. That's how you know how hipster it is. Everything is IPA. You go to like a normal hole in the wall restaurant. They'll have like 8 IPAs and like 2 other beers. Like, God damn it, you can't have all IPAs. You're so hipsterish. You have nothing but IPAs. IPAs are okay, but you know what I mean. They're a palate destroyer. Why would you have an IPA in a restaurant, especially 8 of them? When you're eating food,
especially you don't know exactly what they taste like.
Of course.
So, like
IPAs can be very strong.
You're going in blind.
Oh, exactly. So I knew my beers. I went through a few different styles of beers. I like. Do you have a Kolsch? Do you have a Hefeweizen? Oh, okay. You got a wit beer. They're like, kind of. I'm like, okay, I'll take that. So like, I mean, it was cool to be there though. It was a cool piece of history. It was right down the street from the hotel too. The hotel was right near Battery Park too. Which overlooks the Statue of Liberty. Seeing the Statue of Liberty was really cool, and just the different things. The Raging Bull I got to see. That was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that as well. I really wanted to see it. But what the funniest thing, because they had like the Defiant Girl, which got moved because of the Raging Bull, because it was the kind of the one statue was kind of like plagiarizing the other statue type thing. And so it was cool to see them, being on, to see the stock exchange and shit like that. But what was funny about the bowl is like the bowl had the biggest lineup there. That's what the shitty thing. I wanted to get a better picture with it, but there was a huge lineup around it, and everyone wanted to like get on the shoulders of the bowl and take a picture, and so that's what everyone was doing. But the bowl, so you can tell on like copper and shit like that, like the areas will be the high traffic areas where people touch it, it'll be shiny. The balls of the bowl were the shiniest part. I'm not shitting you, Kelly. I think it must have been like a fertility thing, like in the Spanish community or something like that, because that's all it was these Spanish women coming up and just rubbing the balls of this bull, and like it was just everyone was. I got obviously a picture of the bull's balls, and everyone was. All these women were obsessed with the bull's balls. Like I said, it was a fertility thing, and they were like glass. They were so shiny. It was a really, really funny moment. Seeing all the history, seeing all the statues, was always really, really cool. And just like I said, man, I just had an idea in my head of where to walk, and I just walked and really saw some side streets. Went down some streets people probably don't normally go down. What was crazy, is you see like the steam coming out of the sewers and shit like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you walked over top of like where that steam was coming out, the pavement was super hot, man. That was a really crazy thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, like super hot, like super wet, super temperature change. That was the craziest thing about it too, man.
Must be all the rats decomposing.
It's shit. I'm pretty sure it's just shit.
Ugh.
Straight poop.
Oh fuck.
But the temperature was super nice. It was 25 degrees the last day I was there.
Yeah, with all this shit.
Exactly. It was super nice, super great temperature the whole time. And then the second day was our big trip. Saturday is our big trip. So we walked 14 miles, Kelly, for all my American friends. Not kilometers, 14 miles we walked. Went to a really cool place where I got a grilled cheese fucking donut. That was really, really cool. There was like some kind of famous rappers like filming like kind of like doing like their Instagram shit outside too. They had a huge entourage. That was really cool, right in Manhattan. Obviously Manhattan's like the touristy area, and that's what I took in. That's what I really wanted to check out for the first time. That's what you do when you go to New York. Check out the touristy spot, and that was Manhattan, between all 5 boroughs. Then we walk. We had reservations at this really cool Italian restaurant right where all the Broadway theaters are, right on Broadway there. And we walked through through West Village. We get that was really interesting. Going past all the different places there. It was almost like kind of like a little bit more like West End Vancouver here, not like the West Side, but like Kitsilano area where there's a lot of high end boutiques and a lot of rich people and shit like that. One thing I noticed is I didn't see a lot of Teslas out there. Not a lot of Teslas just because there's nowhere to fucking charge them there. Yeah. So that was really interesting too. Different walk of life, man. So we get it was really cool. Carmine's is where we went to. If I can give that place a plug, that's probably the best pasta place I've ever been to in my life, man. It was so fucking good. What a great experience that was. They just do family pasta there. where you just get a big plate for everyone at your table to eat. You know what I mean? They don't have like individual pasta. You just get a big plate of pasta and you distribute it between everyone in the family. Really, really cool being there. I'm still thinking about it. I don't know what they put in that pasta, man, because my mouth's watering just thinking about going back there again. It was honestly the best Italian pasta I've ever eaten at a restaurant, man. It was so good. And then from there we walked to the world famous Comedy Cellar, man. It was really, really cool. We went and saw a comedy show. We go to a pub to get some, some pre-drinks and some food beforehand after all our walking. And we go to the Comedy Cellar, saw an awesome comedy show. To be in New York City, Kelly, in the Comedy Cellar, which it smelled like piss. It was a great ambiance, everything. You're so far down there. The bathrooms were weird as shit. Men and women had 3 stalls. That's it. No urinals in the guy's bathroom. Just 3 stalls. But it was almost like you were in a room. You close the door and you're in a room. Like, it must be like, people going in there and doing blow all the time, I guess. I don't know. But you're seriously in a room with a closed door. That's your bathroom. Good. It was really, really weird, man. Really weird, but the comedy show was amazing. Just to see a comedy show, all the comedians killed it. That was my highlight, honestly. I've seen a lot of really cool stuff, but to go to a comedy show like that, oh man,
do you remember who was on?
I do remember, like, they had one guy, I think it was Mateo Lamb, I think his name is.
Okay.
He was actually super, super funny.
Nice.
Let me look him up here. And he was like, pretty gay. Like, yeah, Mateo Lane is his name. Mateo Lane is his name. He's super gay, but man, was he funny. Talking about, he had some video game things too about, being gay and playing video games. Everyone kind of had like a thing about what they did during the pandemic, and that was his thing. He played Call of Duty. He said like how Fortnite is like the gayest game because like when you get into a gun battle and then you start decorating.
Yeah. That's so true. Oh my. That's hilarious.
It was the funniest. I howled when I heard that joke. He had like a people like using derogatory terms.
Yeah.
In playing Call of Duty and just like shit like that. Him being a gay guy during that. You know what I mean? And just how he took it. It just really, really fun. I think he's gonna be a big star one day because he does voices really, really well too.
Yeah.
And he was super, super funny. He was really, really funny and really, really good show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really funny, man.
That just, I kind of put like, when he said that, it kind of put a thought in my head where I'm like, man, would it suck to like play Call of Duty and be black and gay?
Yeah.
Because then like, you must think the whole world hates you. You know what I mean?
Like that's what he said. That's what he said. Like he's like talking about how you get like a 5-second clip of when you kill a guy, you can hear what they say, right? And he's like, I'm so self-conscious already. How do they know?
I hate that though. I'm like, that's the biggest problem with video games today is the toxic nature of the whole thing. Like,
he's joking about it, but it's pretty serious shit.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a little bit of truth in everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like every time you make a joke, there's a little bit of truth in it. Man, that's like, fuck.
Yeah, no, he was really fun. I could watch like a whole like comedy special of his because I was giggling the whole time, and it really, really good. Everyone was awesome.
Yeah.
Even the MC was really cool. That was the coolest part, being in that atmosphere. The MC comes out, he's just talking to the crowd and shit like that. And the band was amazing too. The house band was super amazing. Like it was just a dude on a keyboard, but he was playing guitar and bass on the keyboard. And then they had a live drummer too. Really, really well done. It was everything I could have hoped for. You had to, like, when you go into Kelly, they like make you seal up your cell phone. Yeah. So everyone at your table, you got to put your cell phone in a bag. But you can keep the bag, obviously, but you can't, obviously, you know, everything's sealed up in a bag now, so you can't open that bag, until you leave.
That way you can't steal, like, brilliant jokes. Well,
I think that, too, or they don't want people distracted on their phone, too. It's like a theater thing, right? It's a disrespect thing to be on your phone, too, while people are joking.
Yeah.
I guess that, people up there talking, they, that's what you came to see, not to be on your phone, I guess.
So whenever someone says they have wide feet, I always suggest these Nike Monarchs.
Okay.
They come in different colors. They all have leather, right? But the black ones are really good for work.
Like the dad shoes.
I've used them. I used them for work before. They basically just like a retro, Nike style, basically, like
dad
classic
shoe.
Style dad shoe, basically. For some reason, it's not popping up here. I want to show like a leather one though, because the leather ones, so the leather ones are black leather. Yeah. But the wide base for like people with wide feet that can't wear other types of shoes. But it comes in a whole bunch of like different colors and different like like this blue ones there or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But they come in a whole bunch of different colors basically. But they're all like the same. Because basically it's like perfected for people with wide feet.
Yeah.
So I've worn them before. I don't really have wide feet, but I have wider feet than most. So my feet kind of like it fits in a narrow shoe, but it's like barely. So sometimes I like to have more room. But like those ones, a little bit too much room on each side. So I wish there was something in between for me. But yeah, I always like recommend those for people with wide feet. It's just because they're super comfortable.
It's the absolute worst. Like these ones I had to really work in, and my feet aren't even in the end.
Yeah.
Like my feet aren't even near the end. Look how wide that son of a bitch is.
Yeah. You'd be perfect for like a Monarch, man. Yeah. Those things, it's like so like it's like a cloud. Like when you're
I
like
love that shit.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into it.
They're nice, and they're like so I think you can get them at Rona, or not Rona. I wish. Man store. No, you can get them at Mark's Warehouse for like $50-$60.
Oh wow.
And then you can also get them at like Sports Check. Usually they're like $75 at Sports Check. But yeah, all different colors. But the black one's perfect for work.
That's the thing I thought. Like I said, I just think because my feet swelled up too. Like especially that Saturday, my hands they felt like huge.
Yeah.
I was like, somebody better watch out, New York City, here I come. But that was the craziest thing about it is the hospitality. I didn't get any of this angry New York hospitality. I got nothing but nice people. People saying hello. People, you know what I mean? People, you know what I mean? Super friendly about taking pictures, or people super friendly about, you know what I mean? Like giving you directions or shit like that. Not that I ever needed to ask or anything like that, but I had a phone. You know what I mean? I had a phone on me. But still, just shit like that. You know what I mean? The hospitality of the New York people was super nice. This dude, for instance, I was walking.
Yeah.
And right down to Manhattan. And I was going down to the water to the East River, and this dude, he's like a worker, tons of construction going on all the fucking time. And this guy, he's got a pallet jack and a pallet of some shit, is double stacked with something. I don't know what the hell it is. And he's going from corner to corner on the street, and the top pallet falls over. And I'm like, he's a huge dude. And I didn't think he needed help, but he's cursing, he's pissed off. I could tell it's Friday. This is Friday, and he's probably at the end of the day he wants to go home. Yeah. And I go, hey man, you need a hand with that? He's like, no, I'm good, but I really appreciate you asking me, little man. I'm like, no problem. Just something like that. A little thing like that. Like he was, this huge dude. You know what I mean? And I'm just some foreign ass dude. Technically, and that he was happy that I even asked. You know what I mean? There was a cool little interaction, but Saturday was really cool. Like I said, and after that, my feet were destroyed. After the comedy club, like all that walking, we had the comedy club. Now the streets were packed where we were. The streets were absolutely packed. All the clubs, all the little pubs, all the places, lineups down the road. Really cool to see that again. And we get an Uber, Uber is just crazy out there, man. There's so many Ubers. And it was weird. I know everyone has Yukons or Suburbans or different, the Tahoes, Yukons, Tahoes, Suburbans, and Escalades out there. I didn't think that would be a New York thing, but man, oh man, all the Ubers, that's all they are.
It gets cold.
These are big ass SUVs, exactly that, which can take a lot of people with you, I guess. And then the final day, so my feet were destroyed. Go back to the hotel, and my feet were okay in the morning. That was always the saving grace. My feet were okay in the morning to go back and do it again, to go back and beat the fuck out of them again. So it wasn't too bad. Just the end of the day, my feet were always destroyed. And then the last day I did Central Park by myself, doing Central Park. That was kind of the stressful part, getting my test, but it was a cool part about America. They have these vans everywhere. You get your test, because going to America, you pay for the cheap test, the rapid test to get into America. But coming back into Canada, I need the PCR test, the one that can take up to 24 hours to get. But there's vans everywhere, free. There are vans everywhere in New York City,
free candy.
Basically
on the side,
and but the funny thing is I go and get mine done, and there's a dude in the back of the van eating lasagna. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm gonna test for Italian. Test positive for Italian.
Tester's gotta eat too.
Exactly. It was pretty funny. But my test was okay, but I was cutting it short. I was cutting it close because you have to have it inside that window. And since I was really technically only there for like 3 days, I had to have my test done with inside that window. So I was a little bit nervous with that. But Central Park was really cool. The pond was really, really cool. I didn't only get to explore really half of Central Park. I really only got to do half of Manhattan. Manhattan's like the size of 5 downtown Vancouvers, and then just one borough of New York City. It's really just absolutely gigantic, and there's just everything to see and everything to do. I'm going to go back again and again and again. I absolutely love the city. I really, really enjoyed my time. And I honestly feel mentally enlightened by going there. I think it's the sewage gas that made me feel that way. Nice. And I got to take the New Jersey train back to New Jersey. That was really cool. It's like a big electric train. It was actually like an actual train. It was running to see Madison Square Garden was really cool. And then like underneath Madison Square Garden, like this labyrinth of train stations and different things. Just how New York is stacked upon stacked of its own self. It's very, very interesting with that, and how old New York, how far down old New York is down there. And what a awesome trip. I cannot say enough good things about it. I really, really enjoyed it. I have nothing bad to say about it at all, really. I saw very little homeless people. Obviously, it's kind of pricey. It's expensive, obviously. But on part of Vancouver, it's pretty much the same as Vancouver, really, to be there. But man, oh man, what an awesome trip! I wish I could have seen like a UFC or something like that, or a hockey game or a football game. Maybe next time I'll take one of those to be in one of those cool stadiums for a crowd like that. I think it'd be a really a lot of fun. But I can see why a lot of successful people come out of there. It's very odd, Kelly. Like it's an odd thing. It's an inspiring town. Very, very weird. Very, very weird. But I enjoyed every minute of it, and I could not be more thankful enough and more honored to have been given the opportunity to get there. It's really something I'll remember for the rest of my life, and I'm super thankful for the people that got me there and for the time I had with them there. Well, then I rambled on for quite some time here, Kelly. Let's take a little breather here. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
You may be a big fan of Colt and Browning and Smith & Wesson. Ruger. We're like the RC Cola of guns. Cheap and effective. You don't pay more for a name brand. Go Ruger.
Do you like breathing in gases that make you hallucinate and think that you can do better than you actually can? Then have we got the place for you, New York City! All the sewer gas you can breathe in one place. Shit. Here at the And New Podcast, we just want to make sure that everyone out there is staying hydrated. Drinking your tap water, your bottled water, your water that comes in the jug and you gotta put it in the thing and it makes the bubbles. And then you'd be playing video games, watching TV, and all of a sudden the bubbles rattle and you think fucking intruder's in the house and you shoot it with your Ruger, but it's just the water cooler. Water! Make sure to stay hydrated with your H2 bros. From Stephen and Kelly, the And New Podcast. Welcome back, folks. Hope you enjoyed our commercials and you go grab yourself a cold, tall glass of water in the house. You know I'm talking tap water. Let's talk some video games. This whole time I have played probably my least amount of video games. I've been so goddamn busy, especially before the trip. I was packing like crazy, not really packing like crazy, but getting all my shit in a row. You know what I mean? Getting my tests ready, making sure I got all my other stuff ready. You know what I mean? Just planning ahead. That was the worst part about traveling. I know the border's going to open up a bit more, and hopefully we want to have a test to go between 2 countries. But just having that, having to just think 3 steps ahead. You didn't have to think 1 or 2 steps ahead. You had to think 3 steps ahead of shit that was going to happen. You know what I mean? Especially, and that was the worst part. Getting back into Canada was the absolute worst. getting into America was easy, smooth. I didn't feel like it was like loose or anything like that. Like they didn't follow all the rules. No, they totally did. They just didn't grill me because I have zero criminal record. I'm a totally normal dude. And I was going for a legit reason. But getting into Canada was a fucking nightmare.
I live here.
Well, no, there wasn't. They also didn't grill me, but it just the process, the queue, like standing in the fucking lineup to get into another lineup to go and stand in front of somebody. Was fucking insane, absolutely insane. In like this tiny cramped room with no air conditioning, no one fucking directing traffic, and it just was a fucking nightmare.
They grilled my wife once when she was coming back.
Really?
Yeah. I guess they thought she was some Dutch woman.
Well, that's hilarious. They didn't think, they're like, no, you're on the list.
Just like for an hour. She was
really?
Like, yeah.
Holy moly. I'm glad I didn't get that. Like on the way there, I was so nervous. I'm glad nothing like that did happen because I would have fucking shit my pants or something. I just didn't eat very well and I was super nervous. I was just going off coffee and adrenaline. But a game I have played slightly is Subnautica Below Zero. Became free on Game Pass. I really do love the Game Pass on the computer. You really do get a lot of cool titles. And I definitely will renew it. Again, I'll probably just have that as my thing, and then buy the odd game here and there. But having that subscription thing, and just with Halo coming out, they bring out some bangers.
Is Halo out now? Because my computer says that I can play it.
I think you can download it now, but I don't think it. What's the date? I don't think it comes out till the 26th.
Oh, okay.
But I think they're allowing you to download it now.
Back for Blood, though.
Back for Blood's fun. You know what I mean? Didn't get to play it, but my son played it, and it looks really good. I was kind of hating on it. I'm like, it was kind of a bad series, but they really changed it up. It looks really good. The graphics are amazing on it. The gameplay looks really, really good. And they definitely tweaked it. It's nowhere near. If you're thinking it's going to be like the old game, not even close. It's a totally different game. Check it out. Give it an honest shake because I already gave it a bad shake because I thought it was going to be a shitty game. Because it was gonna make the old one totally different. Really, really good game. Check it out if you haven't played it, and if you're on the fence about it, or if you have Game Pass. But Below Zero is really fun. They've obviously very similar to the first one without the bugs. That's what I've noticed. This one has no bugs, no real loading time. Maybe because I'm playing on the PC, maybe, but I'm not loading any lag with the loading. And that's what I love about it. On the Xbox, the first one, loading it up was forever. You'd load it up and go grab a drink, go to the bathroom, come back, and you still have a few minutes to wait. Obviously, my PC is way more powered than an Xbox, but you know what I mean. But it loads. It still takes a little while to load up, but it's only about 10 seconds to load up actually into the game, and then there's 0 loading screens once you're into the game. And but really cool, they've tweaked it a little bit, and that's what I like about it. They didn't change it; they just tweaked it, and it's cool with all the new stuff you get. You go on land a little bit more. The land does hurt you, where it's so cold you can't really be on land that long as well. So you almost have to go back into the water, But at the end of the day, it's a survival game where you don't get guns. That's why I really like Subnautica. And it's definitely interesting for that. It's more of a horror one because you're going in these deep depths and you don't know what's going to happen. I was in my little sea truck thing, which is the equivalent of a sea moth, and I'm going down there, and boom, all of a sudden something attacks me, and it's on the fucking front of my ship. I'm fucking getting out of there, and so that was it's more of a horror survival game. Where you can only go so low, and then you gotta get the next gear in order to build up, so you can go lower, and then you're going lower and lower and lower into the depths of the ocean, and it's spooky and it's scary for that. But you don't get guns, you don't get weapons. You know what I mean? You don't really have any weapons. You have a knife. That's it. You don't get any kind of laser gun to fight off these dudes. So I've always kind of been a bit annoyed by that, to tell you the truth. So that's kind of why I've kind of stalled out. I played, I died a bunch of times, and then I got back on the horse and I played and got the sea truck and built all that fun stuff, and now I'm at the next level. But now I'm kind of just plateauing again, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep putting time into this game. Super good game. Visually, it's amazing. Absolutely, visually, it's amazing. The new creatures you come up against are really, really cool. Everything's new and different and bright and shiny, and it's just an upgraded version, which is nice. They've done a great job with that, but I may come back to it down the road or something like that. But right now, I'm just need a bit more action in my life, and I went back to an old friend, a game that helped me not do good in school was Counter-Strike. And I got Counter-Strike. It's free on Steam, so I figured, why the hell not? Get a free game. Why the hell not? If you buy the upgraded version, all you do by buying the upgraded version is play against all the pros. So I won't be buying the upgraded version because I'm fucking terrible at it right now. It's different. You don't look down the sights, right?
Yeah.
It's a game where you can't look down the sights unless you have a sniper rifle or something like that, or a gun with a scope on it. So that's kind of what's weird about Counter-Strike. Very weird. I played in 2001. You know what I mean? I played the game in 2001, man. And 20 plus years later, it's still as toxic as ever, and still crazy. It was just fun. It was a bit nostalgic to play. It was good action. It was, different strategies, different shit like that. Team deathmatch with hostages or bomb defusal. It was fun. It was definitely fun. Could I see myself getting into it and spending a lot of hours? Probably not. But I got the game on my computer. I'm excited to play some other guns. But that's the big thing for me, Kelly. Is it going to be? I'm really in between. I need a new game. Gonna buy a new game. I want to buy a new game. I'm in between two new games. Is it gonna be the super popular Amazon title New World, the MMORPG that is taking the world by storm and getting more money for Jeff Bezos somehow, or a classic game that I've really been kicking the tires on, Hunt Showdown? Is my other option. Hunt Showdown was the other option I was going to hit up. Buddy I work with plays it, really likes it a lot. It looks like it's pretty one-dimensional, though, in my opinion. It's kind of one-dimensional. It looks like it's a bit one of those computer games where you really do, it is on Xbox too, but it's one of those games where they really want you to buy guys and buy guns and upgrades and crap like that. I'm not really about that. I understand, playing the game normally is fun. You kind of sneak around fighting monsters. You get kind of like as a bounty. You got to go in and sneak around and kill this monster, and then get out with anyone noticing you, because there's other hunters like you out there that they could kill you and take the bounty that you just got. So a bit like a Sea of Thieves type thing with that. But I'm on the fence. And is New World something I do want to get into, though? That's the thing. Is New World that good? And we have a guy who has played it in Kelly. What do you think of the game?
So yeah, I'll go into that. I just wanted to bring up one thing about new Windows 11 first.
Oh, okay, sure.
So my current PC can't run it.
Oh no.
No, but it's like, so Windows 11, they're bringing in all the Xbox functionality, everything basically that makes the Xbox capable of reading Xbox software. Uh-huh. And processing it so quickly and effortlessly. Sorry, I can't even talk. So basically, they're making it so Windows 11, you have to have like a high-end PC so that you can actually use it to play games. My son's PC can run it. Yeah. I'm sure yours can run it. You can actually check if you go to update. You can actually check on your PC right now if you can run it. But people are talking, I even looked at my computer's only 2 years old, but it cannot run.
Weird.
Xbox, the 11. So it's kind of crazy, but at the same time, they're making it so that if you can play, because they're going to release games on the new Xbox, but not Xbox One anymore. And they're going to release it on the new Xbox, and they're going to release it on Windows 11 and not Windows 10. So so it's going to be basically, if you can run it on the new Xbox, you can run it on Windows 11.
Those sons of bitches.
Yeah, so they're basically saying that, hey, we want, if you want to use Windows 11, we want you to have the best specs so that you can play the best games that we're making right now. Otherwise, you're gonna lag out. You're not gonna be able to make these play these games. They're still gonna run Windows 10 as well. Yeah. For computers that cannot run Windows 11.
Those bastards.
I thought it was super interesting that they're making a minimal specs.
That is,
because they never did before. So they must really be pushing PC gaming on Windows 11 platform. Just the craziest push I've ever seen for gaming platform.
I think the pendulum has swung towards PC gaming. Not me just buying a PC and me joining the team. Yeah. I think that's a lot of people. Yeah. I think that we're seeing, the streamers. Yeah. Streaming is huge right now. It's gigantic. These people are making hundreds of millions of dollars a year to play video games and have people watch them play video games. And shit like that. And what do all those people play? PC.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. There's maybe a few that play Xbox. Highly doubt it because the Xbox platform sucked. You know what I mean? The whole Xbox. What was it? I can't remember what the fuck it was called. I can't remember what the hell it was called, but it's dead. You know, it's totally dead now. That's how bad it did.
Yeah, so Windows 11 will be integrated with the Xbox app, obviously.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, you'll start it up, and then the gaming platform will be started up as well. Yeah, I just thought that was super interesting. A 2-year-old laptop cannot get Windows 11.
Super fucked.
Yeah, so I'd have to upgrade. But it doesn't really matter. I can still play everything I want to, especially New World. So, basically, I could barely run New World on my laptop. It does stutter a little bit on medium settings, and I'm assuming it would on low as well in the cities, but I can still get through it.
Nice.
So the biggest thing about New World is they didn't hold back on the hardware. When they started designing this game, they designed it on the best hardware at the time. So you kind of needed that hardware to actually play this game without, you know, stutters and stuff like that. And at max graphics, I did put it on max graphics at one point. It took like a full 2 minutes to load one screen, but it looked fucking beautiful, man. It looked so beautiful. I was like, holy shit! That's the first thing I said when I started the game. I'm like, it looks beautiful. Like, I've never seen an MMO look beautiful. Even like when I played what was it? Elder Scrolls Online. It did not look this good. So that was the one thing. One thing I didn't like too is there wasn't a lot of character creation options, but whatever. It is what it is. So the game basically, when you get in, you join a faction.
Okay.
You know, you could change your faction every 120 days, which is a long time. But every day, when you join a faction, and then when you level up, basically your faction, you'll join what do you call it? Like a guild.
Okay, yeah.
And then those guilds will fight for territory.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, so it'll actually be like wars, like 50 versus 50 person wars for different territories. When I joined the one that was doing the worst. We only had one territory, but I really don't really care about that. But the biggest thing about the game is when you join a faction, you'll go to that person for like quests and stuff. Quests, they're fairly easy. They'll come up on your little map. They'll pinpoint exactly where they are. You know, it's sometimes it's killing things, sometimes it's looting things, stuff like that. It's typical like quests you would have for an MMO or anything, any type of game really. But the biggest thing in this game isn't just the graphics; it's the combat. You're not pushing 1, 2, 3, 4, putting spells on people, things like that. You actually, like I use a musket in the game.
Cool.
And you actually have to, like, load it. You have to aim. You have to, like, aim in front of the person. There's a whole bunch of skill base in front of it. You can use the controller if you want. I find the keyboard and mouse on this game is the only one I'll actually use. Is better. But, yeah, so I'm using a musket and a spear right now. You can level them up just by using them. The max thing for a musket is a sniper, so you can actually zoom in and out. Nice. I find that would really be good for like end games for like wars and stuff like that, where I can shoot.
Yeah, sitting back while there's a huge battle going on, just picking dudes off. I gotcha.
And then the second thing is I have a spear. With this spear, I can actually throw it too. So what I do is I shoot people from a musket from far away. As they come closer, I'll throw a spear at them, which usually knocks them back, and then I'll just start spearing them to death. But it's totally like you have to block and everything. It's combat based. It's skill based. It isn't rely on your spells or your, you know, there are like super abilities, but it's usually like, it's only like say for my spear, I have one where I throw it. And then one where I do a little like spin.
Okay, yeah.
It's not like necessary, and it's not like crazy. It's not gonna win me the battle. And I can actually throw my spear and miss you. That's how much skill it's based on. Like you actually, you know, it's like it's all skill based. So I find it so much more fun than World of Warcraft or Elder Scrolls Online, stuff like that. Just because of how much skill it takes to actually fight anything like environmental or anything like that.
So it's, you just kind of blew my mind with that. They've had like a Call of Duty type thing. You know what I mean? Like a game like that where it was MMORPG where you're just kind of walking around as a guy with a gun almost.
Yeah,
That's what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And there is other things like when you get low in life, you might have to like eat something or whatever, which you wouldn't have to do in Call of Duty. But there's like pigs and stuff like that, which I actually like to hunt. Sometimes it's just fun to hunt rabbits and pigs and stuff like that. And then you skin them, grab the meat, and you just like eat that. You don't even have to cook it, but you can.
Does eating food give you perks or anything like that?
No,
or
just your life. Like,
gotcha. Okay, okay.
Right? Instead of like, there is potions in a game, but for the most part, if you just kill animals and use them meat, that's good enough. There is crafting. I've never gotten to that. My son, huge into crafting.
Yeah, that's my brother's into it too. And that's basically what he mostly does, is just craft like bags and shit like that.
Yeah, my son crafts armor like all day. It's funny. Like some people get really into like some things. Like I was really into just hunting for a long time, just because it was leveling up my musket as well.
Nice.
So so there'll be different territories. You'll just go to like the one guy for your quest, and you can either go on non-P versus P or P versus P.
Okay.
If you go P versus P, you level up faster. Your quest, it gives you more out of it. If you choose not to, that's fine. You can just level up your guy until you want to do like those battles for actual locations. But it's I don't know. It's just really cool. Like I said, like because it's skill-based combat. The quest is super easy to do. I don't like it when you have to like do a whole bunch of reading and like, oh, where's this mine? Where is that? Where's Southwest? I don't like that shit.
No.
I'd rather them take me right there where I can just like use my skill-based combat to have fun instead of trying to look for the fucking
that's the
quest.
worst.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really cool. All the terrain's really cool. The map's really neat from what I've seen so far.
You take trains?
No, like the terrain, like the
terrain. I got you.
Sorry, my bad.
No.
There is some fast travel in it, but it's kind of like these waterfalls. I don't know how it works, but I've used them already.
Kind of like a portal type thing.
Yeah, like a portal type thing. But yeah, like you, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just really fun. Like it's addicting.
I'm just weighing my odds here. You know what I mean? Do I invest, my money and time into this game? What's on the horizon that I may want to play too? Right.
Well, that's the thing too. Like with this game, I only play for like 15, 20 minutes at a time. Where like some you feel like you have to like put tons of time into. But like I said, because like the quest and everything is so laid out, like I can just go there to the quest point, kill a bunch of shit. Say, hey, I can't play. Fucking something popped up. Set a little campfire up and then quit, and then I could load up from that exact spot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and just like start playing from there. It's not one of those games where it's like you have to like grind with people. Like like a lot of games where it's like in MMOs you have to like get together with a group of people and do dungeons and shit for good gear and stuff like that. You don't have to do that in this game.
Nice.
This game you can just pick up, start playing. Drop it anytime you want.
Nice.
And yeah.
I think I'm sold, man. I think I'm sold because really, what else is coming up on the horizon? Really nothing, and it's only $50.
And you know what? This game got me away from Apex.
Wow.
I haven't really played Apex at all since I've got it.
Wow. I know we haven't really played Sea of Thieves. I know we've both been busy, but we haven't played Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That too, right?
But I was just like, man, like in Apex, you can't. It doesn't feel as good because like. If you like games where you like to watch your numbers go up, this is so addicting.
Oh, really? Okay, I do like that shit. Because my brother was like, my brother texted me like a picture of his guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm really on the fence about getting
this
game.
He's on a different server than me.
Yeah, you guys talked, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's on different. I'm playing with my brother as well and my son.
Oh, cool.
So we're playing on Camelot and he's playing on another one.
So that's what his guy looks like, and I'm like, damn, that's pretty cool. And that's why I was like, yeah, I'm really on the fence about getting it. And he said, he's like, you would suck at it. You shouldn't get it.
It sucks that he's on a different server.
Yeah,
it's just because he like he said, you put time into it. You don't want to leave right away. Plus, he's probably on a different guild and everything. I doubt he'd want to transfer and I doubt I could make 2 people transfer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
I haven't decided who, if I go with 2 guys or maybe, obviously my son will play too. So.
Yeah, you can definitely go with 2 different guys.
Yeah.
Leveling up on 2 different servers would be a lot though.
Yeah, I bet. Oh, of course, just leveling up 2 guys would take twice as long.
Well, one thing is like you don't really do quests with your friends either.
Oh, really?
Like,
yeah, exactly.
Quests are all like they're pretty much like like you'll play in the same area, so you'll see each other running by. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can help each other. Sometimes your quests will be in the same area, but you don't really share quests. It's more of like
Weird.
a solo thing.
Yeah.
Right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, everything you're saying is making me want to get it more. Let's talk some MMA. Gonna start. We're doing UFC first, giving Bellator the mainstay because UFC laid a rotten egg on this one here. Although we did have some good fights leading up to the main event. I'm doing air quotes.
I think in the next 4 years, Bellator has a great chance of becoming the most popular MMA promotion.
They could with the number one thing is paying people.
Yeah, that's the thing, and they're getting better athletes because of it.
They really are. Whoa, sure dog, what's going on here? All right. Starting out with Bruno Silva with the comeback TKO of Andrew Sanchez late in the 3rd round of that one. Nate Landwehr getting a nice anaconda choke over Ludovic Klein. Manon Farot getting a kind of a boring decision over Myra Silva. Jim Miller turning back the clock, getting a huge win over Eric Gonzalez. Did you see that one, Kelly?
I think so.
Woo! 2nd round KO. Just plaps him. Eric Gonzalez coming out with a lazy kind of a flashy kick, leaving his head exposed, and Jim Miller just blaps him.
Yes, I remember.
Eric Gonzalez, I didn't realize he was on this card or even in this fight. Huge fight for him. A dude who came from Combates, America, and it was funny because he was one of their blue chip guys, but he wasn't that great. He had a few losses over there in Combates. 4 losses to date, but one dude he could not beat, and who he has 6 degrees of separation with, was Rafa Garcia. Another dude, when Combates America kind of folded during the pandemic, this dude was like the best guy in Combates, and Rafa Garcia, but he has come to the UFC and lost both of his fights, losing to Nazarat Hasparast, you know what I mean, and Chris Guzmacher, 2 super tough dudes. He went to decision with both the dudes, but he comes in here undefeated from Combates, and we see Eric Gonzalez also come over to the UFC undefeated, or not undefeated, but with a bunch of losses. And, even though he had won his 2 UFC fights coming into this one and then getting KO'd by Jim Miller. And, with what a statement. Jim Miller will be the only UFC fighter to fight in the UFC 100, 200, and now the 300 era. Jim Miller getting his start at UFC 89. And even fighting at UFC 100, fighting Mac Danzig all the way back at UFC 100. Fast forward to he did get the fight Takanori Gomi at UFC 200. They have to make, this dude has got to be healthy for UFC 300, which
wow, he must be rich. Bah, bah, bah.
I know, you'd think so, but he probably lives comfortably.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's probably got a nice place, but he
Yeah.
probably, he doesn't probably have like multiple homes. He may have invested his money properly.
Probably has a decent house.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's he's not loaded for a dude who's fought like, that many times in the UFC. So how many fights does he even have outside of the UFC? Not many. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 12 fights outside of the UFC. So he's got over 40 fights in the UFC. That's insane.
Jim Miller net worth. Professional mixed martial art. Mind you, these are often off, but Google says his net worth is just under 600,000.
Wow.
For that many fights, just
Wow.
under 600. If you think of, I don't even want to think of that.
No, that's not very good money.
That's terrible.
That's not very good money at all.
If you bought a house in BC 25 years ago,
Yeah.
you would have made the same.
And just think, that's a body of work of over 10 years. You know what I mean? You're a dude who's on TV. You're fighting at all the best fights.
That's insane.
You know what I mean? You're
and he's a personality as well.
She should be a celebrity. Yeah, exactly. But he did fight earlier on too, right? He fought when you could wear sponsors and shit like that. Still a huge win for Jim Miller. Great. That was actually a really good fight. I think that in my opinion, that was a fight of the night too, because they were going back and forth in that first round too. I thought they both were tagging each other. Eric Gonzalez actually had a really nice takedown in the first round. He did get tagged up a little bit, and so did Jim Miller. Really, really good fight. I really enjoyed that fight a lot. Two really good fighters, and good to see Jim Miller get a W. And speaking of veterans as well, another huge veteran, Andre Arlovsky versus Carlos Felipe. I don't know what was up with Felipe. You know what I mean? We're seeing more of these heavyweights. They just look like doughy dudes. I'm not saying that disrespectfully at all. What I mean? I'm a guy who comes from like the wrestling era of the '90s, where everyone was like this super roided, jacked up dudes. I understand that you don't have to be that body type in order to be a fighter, but you know what I mean? When it comes to heavyweight, I think maybe some, it couldn't hurt if you were.
It definitely looks more professional if you look like you took it seriously.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Kelly. Woo. More fire. Yeah. And it kind of showed that, you know what I mean? He was getting pieced up. Andre Arlovsky had a great game plan, you know what I mean? Throwing kicks, slowing him down, dragging this fight into deep water, and that's exactly what happened. You know what I mean? Sure, you can say he's a fighter and everything, he doesn't look out of shape, but he gassed the fuck out in the third round. Mm-hmm. Felipe looked super gassed. He looked gassed in the second round.
Yeah.
The third round, he looked like he couldn't lift his arms.
His whole game plan was land that right.
It was so predictable. Yeah. Arlovsky knew exactly what to do. Punch, duck my head.
Yeah.
That's what he did every you know what I mean? Oh, here comes the overhand right again. Just got to duck my head. I'll be fine. That's why I thought maybe when he started throwing elbows, maybe that Felipe had busted his hand up somehow or something like that. So, because he was throwing those short elbows, which were no range at all. Yeah. But like I said, there's a few dudes with this same build, and I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it. I think this is what I think that's the biggest problem with the UFC right now, and obviously Ngannou is the hugest guy saying, I mean, why do I need and Stipe has a second job. Stipe is still a firefighter. Yeah. You know what I mean? Shit like that. And you got Francis Ngannou, who's who's saying, I don't have enough money. Mm-hmm. And even Daniel Cormier, I think Daniel Cormier was, he was a major star before when he came in. I'm sure he made a lot of money from Strikeforce, and now he's obviously a big, huge analyst for ESPN and for the UFC. So he's obviously making good dough with that. These dudes are the top of their game. They should be millionaires.
You got Dana White fucking sitting there just talking, making more money than all of them. Doing
videos of cooking grilled cheese with everything. What is up with those videos? Have you seen those?
No.
He does grilled cheese. He does like these recipe videos on his Facebook.
Yeah. And
just him cooking stuff with grilled cheese. I'm like, what is this shit?
Yeah.
And like what looks like his house, the kitchen in his house looks like a kitchen you'd see at like a professional restaurant.
Yeah, because he's fucking stupid rich.
Exactly.
Stupid rich. And all he does is the beginning of the conferences, he just talks a bunch of shit about how much people paid for the UFC, like how many people bought it, what the gate was, shit like that. Then he's like, I think this guy did really good, that guy didn't do so good. You fucking never fought, so shut up. And then he gets paid more than all these guys who put their lives on the line. Makes no sense to me.
Zero. And then he's getting like hundreds of millions, and they're not even getting $1 million.
Yeah.
It's shitty. I think the pendulum, I keep saying that, the pendulum tipping, I think the pendulum will tip on the UFC.
Yeah.
And that will be it. It will be pay.
I think as soon as you're talking about that one organization, where it's going to be 50-50 splits.
Yeah.
I think as soon as that comes out, it's going to start sliding a lot.
I think this is always the hardest part. People will want to probably have that scale. They'll probably work that scale into their contracts.
Yeah.
But they got to get that big name. They got to get the big names over there. They got to get something splash, a big splash.
Saying, like GSP is training hard, man, and his contract's going to be up soon as that the organization starts. I think he's going to be on the card. I think he's gonna I'm gonna sell this.
It would work. That would work. You know what I mean? You get like GSP versus Khabib or something shit like that.
Yeah.
So, or GSP versus anybody, really.
Anybody.
Yeah, really. And I think it would be huge. It would be gigantic.
You could fucking do a Diaz brother and it'd be enormous. And
yep.
you would beat a Diaz right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Nick
has one more fight on his contract. Yep. And Nick, I think, I don't know. I don't know what he has right now. But I know Nate only has one. And Nate could do 170.
Yep. Oh, yeah, absolutely. People would definitely pay to see that. That's the thing. Will people pay to see it? In 100% yes.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, it's GSP versus Nate. And it's like, just make that the main event. Tell Nate, hey, you get, we're going to cut 50% for promotion. And then we're going to do 50-50 pay. So 25-25, whatever it is. That's going to be a lot walking away with all the pay-per-views and everything like that.
Huge, but I think it's got to change, though, man. Yeah. I agree. Is it too much? I don't know if it is. Obviously, the business itself has got to be sustainable.
Yeah.
100%. You know what I mean? The business is got to be making money, but if your fighters aren't making money and they aren't happy about it, then you're not going to get what you want.
Fabricio, can you go over there? With a boomerang.
With a boomerang. Throwing boomerangs in the crowd.
Mark Hunt.
Huh.
Hunt versus Fabricio can be the co-main.
There you go. I'd pay to see that. But a fight that no one is talking about and no one wants to see again is Norma Dumont winning over Aspen Ladd. Aspen, I cannot make weight, lad. It's not about being a woman. It's not about being out of shape or anything like that. It's just she does not fit into 135. She cannot make 135, and at 145, she has the moniker of the worst fight of the year.
Yeah.
Terrible.
She's not strong enough.
Terrible fight. And she didn't even look that big. Norma Dumont was quite had a good inch on her. Norma Dumont's not a huge 145 either. Mm. That's the thing. Norma Dumont's not a gigantic 145 at all. And terrible fight for both of them. Norma Dumont just doing enough in those first 3 rounds to coast in the last 2, which did not help the fight out. And Aspen Ladd, to talk about today, is Aspen Ladd's corner. Was Aspen Ladd's boyfriend in corner too hard on her? For the people who didn't fast forward through that part.
I stopped watching, to be honest with you. Because here's the thing, Aspen Ladd, the only attempt she tried to take her down, she just got shrugged off. And her whole game plan is to bully.
Yeah, so, I think it was five stuff takedowns was a stat that was there showed when I had watched, and the 5th round, I'll be honest, I fast forwarded through the 5th round.
Yeah, so I'm done. So anyways, what was the boyfriend saying?
Well, I guess he wasn't like in I guess
you fucking suck.
Well, I think he was saying, like you're down, you're losing this fight. You got to do something. If you don't do something, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
And he was upset about it. You know what I mean? There was some stuff he was saying, but it was not. I guess there was nothing in my opinion that I thought had crossed the line. Like I said, I didn't listen to every single one, and I don't care to. I'm not going to go back and I don't give a shit about this fight, and I honestly don't give a shit about either one of these fighters. I'm just going to be like, man or woman, whatever color or race, you put on a shitty show. I don't give a fuck. You put on a shitty show, and I'm going to be disappointed when I see your name on an upcoming fight card, and who you're going to be fighting. I will think of always how terrible this fight will always stick in my mind, and that's on both of them. That's on both of them. Not Aspen Ladd more, in my opinion, because this was their time to shine, Kelly. It's your main event.
Yeah.
This is your main event. Even though both the original fighters got injured, and it's a double replacement, this is your opportunity. That's what pissed me off the most. This is your time to shine. Fucking put everything out there. All your training, your whole career has led up to this moment, and you shit the bed.
Yeah.
You threw the sheets in the shower into hope to get rid of the smell and the stench. But you know what? You made it worse. You made it so much worse. And
I gotta be honest with you, I didn't even know who won until now.
Nor cared.
No, I didn't care. I didn't even look it up. That's true. I didn't even think about that. I was just like, whatever. This fight sucks. I did not know. Nor care.
That's what I'm saying. And they should have at least done something more with being a main event. I've seen a lot of heavyweight main events that are terrible. Tons of them. I've watched a lot of bad fights. Tons of them. And 99% of them were dudes. Now we have a terrible, terrible main event. That was a women fight. It has nothing to do with who they are or what they are, but this was a bad, bad fight. Absolute bad fight. And like I said, I'm not saying that because they're women. Not at all. Not at all. Some of my most favorite fighters are women fighters. I'm just saying it was their opportunity. Exactly. This was their opportunity to shine, and they didn't do any of that.
I watch every Thug Rose fight.
Of course, me too. Cyborg. Doesn't matter what organization Cyborg's fighting for, I'd watch that fight. You know what I mean? Tons of them. You know, Ronda Rousey was huge.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Misha
tons.
Tate.
Yeah, Misha Tate for sure. There's tons of women fighters that all tune in no matter what. If they're headlining, 100% I'm tuning in. Absolutely. Even the local woman, you know, Julia Budd, who now moved over to PFL, watching her fights too.
Savage Jillian.
Yeah.
Even though she loses, she's still a good fighter.
Absolutely. I always tune in for her too.
Yeah, that's the thing. She puts on a fight.
Exactly. Win or lose, she's going to fight.
Yeah.
That brings us to an actual MMA event with Bellator 268, Nemkov versus Anglicus. Really good card. That's what this one saved. This one saved my night. I was really enjoying it. It was really awesome. It was on YouTube. I had to actually leave during the co-main event and the main event, so I was lucky to come back and be able to turn that back on, to be able to rewind and go back to it. It was really, really good.
I wish it was YouTube fights.
Yeah, me too. That would be cool. That would be cool. I would like to watch that. We see the MMA debut of Maria Henderson, Benson Henderson's wife, getting a rear naked choke finish over Colette Santiago, and she's 1-0 in MMA now professionally.
God's plan.
God's plan. We got Lance Gibson Jr. beating Raven Pena by TKO. That was a flashy one. Javier Torres going to a war in a split decision win over Gregor Milliard. Nick Brown getting the nice heel hook over Bobby Lee. I don't know. In my opinion, I think that was more of a. I don't think that was a heel hook. In my opinion, I think that was more either an Achilles lock or a knee bar. But they're sure dog calling it a heel hook. Okay.
I didn't even know the guy from Mad TV fought.
No affiliation. He's not some Korean comedian.
Oh man. Have you ever listened to his podcast?
Oh, he's always got tons of funny shows going on the go. Yeah,
he has Tiger Belly podcast.
Yeah,
it's hilarious.
Super funny. We see the battle of the kind of the two 205ers on the outside looking in. Carl Abdulson taking on Yagshirmadov, and he gets the decision over their Uzbekistani fighter. Henry Corrales getting back into his winning ways, although by another decision over Vladislav Parchunakev. And he gets a big win. Brent Primus beating the crap out of Benson Henderson, just bullying him all fight. And what was so interesting about this one, Kelly, before this one went down is Benson Henderson saying that how he's not in the title shot for 105, like because the 105, because Patricky relinquishes the title. He doesn't want the 105 belt anymore, and Patricio, his brother, or vice, I think it's Patricio had the belt and got rid of it, and Patricky's now going to get the belt shot with another dude. And Ben Henderson's like, why wasn't I involved in that? Because you're 3-0, or you're 0-3 in Bellator, you moron.
I used to be a UFC champion.
I know, and you're on a 3-fight losing streak in Bellator, and even the other ones before that, you didn't look great. You know what I mean? You basically got one finish since coming over to Bellator, with the exception of a dude getting a leg injury. And that was guillotine choke over Roger Huerta. You guillotine choke a dude who gets finished by everybody, who is so well past his prime. And then all your other wins are decisions, not great decisions. You get knocked out by Michael Chandler. You got Michael Chandler paid and got him a ticket back to the UFC. You get a real bad showing against Jason Jackson. And now you get manhandled by Brett Primus. I don't know where Benson Henderson, the CTE this guy has, to think that he should be in any title shot of any organization is just laughable. Like I said, the amount of brain damage this guy must have to even think he should be even in the sentence, let alone a top 10 of any organization right now, is comical. It really is.
I think he should be able to fight for the welterweight belt.
Okay, we'll give you a belt. 250. Let's see how you do.
Heavyweight belt. Let's
exactly.
Go. If you can go to 206, you can fight for that.
Exactly. That's all you need.
Former champion versus new champion.
So you know what I mean? I got nothing against Henderson. I've never been a Benson Henderson fan.
Yeah.
But with statements like that, you're gonna get people like me to fucking get on you, man. And it's just so stupid. But that brings us to the co-main event of the evening with Corey Overtime Anderson punching that clock and getting the TKO win over Ryan Bader. Corey Anderson was the favorite coming into this fight, even Kelly, and the bettors had it right with that nice, punch right behind the ear and followed it up. Ryan Bader got dazed, and then he got, Corey Anderson came in there tough as hell. He bullied the bully, man. He came in there, bullied Ryan Bader, and got the victory. Huge win for Corey Anderson. I'm actually liking to see Corey Anderson because this dude's come into Bellator and he's getting the wins. He has his last fight in the UFC against Jan Blachowicz was the KO loss. Although he does have a victory over Jan Blachowicz, but his 3 fights in Bellator, Kelly, all finishes, even though it was Melvin Manhoef, a very underweight Melvin Manhoef. For him to go up to 205 is ridiculous. Still, he finished him, gets the victory, and then to get his first fight in the tournament of the 205 against Yamir Shiradov, and getting that victory, and with ground and pound, a tough victory, and now getting the huge win over the former champ Ryan Bader, catapulting Corey Overtime Anderson to the finale of the 205 tournament against none other than the champion Vadim Nemkov, getting the nice Kimura victory over Julius Anglickas, going for the Americana, switching over to the Kimura. Anglickas, sitting down Nemkov, really landing a real nice shot in the first round, knocking Nemkov loopy, but Nemkov gets the takedown in the first round, in basically emergency mode, what true champions do, and then eventually grounding out Anglickas. Come the third round and the fourth round, it wasn't very good to watch because Anglickas was exhausted, and Nemkov knew he had 0 takedown defense, so he went for the takedown every time. So Anglickas just really had nothing off of his back. I think that's what you see a lot of in Bellator. You don't see those well-rounded dudes. You see these dudes who are, strictly strikers with a little bit of ground game. And especially European dudes and the Lithuanian here in Julius Anglickas, but good showing to be almost the Cinderella, but he did not make the ball. He turned back into the pumpkin, and it'll be Vadim Nemkov taking on Corey Anderson at a future date for the Bellator belt. 2 dudes who the champion getting through, and now the dude who's the UFC blue chip dude who's caught lightning in a bottle, and he's going to cash in that ticket. He's cashing in his overtime for that championship belt. Should be a great matchup because I think Corey Anderson is really going to bring it. A dude who's a great wrestler too, because Nemkov's not going to be able to wrestle him. And I think Corey Anderson has to be the winner, has to be the favorite to win that one. And I'm going to calling it here right now that Corey Anderson will be the 205 champion of Bellator MMA.
I think it's funny that he has 8 KO wins and 8 decision wins.
Corey Anderson?
Yeah, no submissions.
Yeah, hey, yeah, even for all that, how much of a grappler he is. Yeah, very interesting.
It's 8-8.
4 KO losses though. Those have to be, OSP.
Yeah, they're pretty old.
Jimmy Manawa, Jan Blachowicz.
Pretty old ones.
Yeah, they is. Yeah, she has a loss to Shogun too.
That's the thing though. Like anybody can get caught in MMA.
Of course, especially at 205.
Yeah, and then Shogun when they fought, he was still pretty relative. Pretty,
He was, yeah. He's fought a lot of tough dudes. I think obviously the one was the TKO over Johnny Walker. That was a huge one. Then to lose to Jan Blachowicz, that was a tough one too, a rematch. That helped Jan Blachowicz move up to where he is. He hasn't fought any slouches. That's the crazy thing. In 205 at the UFC, he has a win over Glover Teixeira. Yeah. He has a win over Patrick Cummins. Alir Latifi, he has a win over. He didn't fight. He lost to OSP, loses to Jimmy Manawa. Has a big one over Sean O'Connell too, who's the play-by-play announcer for PFL. Loses Shogun, beats Tom Lawler, beats Fabiano Maldonado too. Then gets the win over Jan Blachowicz, only to lose to Gian Vellante. And early on, I guess Justin Jones, Matt Van Buren were his two first UFC fights, but still, in your first few UFC fights, you don't want big names. And he's still young too. He's only 32. So I think he's a dude who's got a bright future ahead of him, and I think he's got a long time. He could be the champ for a very long time. Good to see. Really good showing. Great show from the for Bellator. I almost said UFC because I always end with UFC. Terrible show for UFC. Great showing for Bellator, and it was a great weekend of fights and sports. Just want to give a special shout out to everyone out there listening on Spotify and Podbean and everywhere else you download us to listen to us. Really appreciate everyone sticking with us through all this shit, and hopefully you guys can tune in next week for all of our stories and crap and bullshit. We'll be back with reviewing the reviews next week as well, because I'm not going to New York again anytime soon. Like I said, that was the most stressful part, was just the paperwork part of it. But our borders are opening up between each other, so hopefully we can go to Vegas or go to Seattle, go into something like that. Just I love you, America, and that's what I I would. You asked me earlier in the show, Kelly. I would definitely 100% move if I became famous. If we became famous from the show, man, I would move to America in a heartbeat. I'd move to LA in a absolute split second. Your shitty water, your filthy air, and your dirty everything. I would love and just soak it all in every single day. Check us out on Twitter @andnewpodcast. What video game should I play? We'll be coming down the pipe, and. Man, oh man, let's wrap her on up here, Kelly. Great show with so much to talk about as we do when we always come back from a long break. And gonna get it done for you guys next week as well. Episode 130 in the books, man. Oh man, 130 episodes as well, Kelly. Keeping on chugging with this organic evolution of this awesome show. I wouldn't have it any other way without my homie Kelly in the driver's seat here, and producing this show into the future. Well then, let's wrap her up here for producer extraordinaire Kelly and myself. My name is Steven, and you've been listening to the